Black cohosh, we're not so sure about the estrogenic effects of that. But by and large, the plants that we're going to be eating, which are rich in phytosterols, which include every root and every seed that we eat, and remember that seeds are not just like sesame seeds or caraway seeds, but also every grain is a seed, every nut is a seed, and every bean is a seed. So phytosterols are very, very common in the plant kingdom. If we eat a good whole foods diet, we're getting lots of them. If we take 100 women and we look at urinary byproducts that are created when the body ferments these phytosterols into active hormones, the difference in breast cancer rates between the top 25 excretors and the bottom 25 excretors is a factor of 4. In other words, the top 25 excretors are 400 times less likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer than the bottom 25 excretors. If we then give all these women a single dose of antibiotics and measure for these byproducts in the urine, we find none. In other words, we must have active gut flora in order to ferment the phytosterols in plants that we normally eat and to turn them into active hormones. What I suggest for both men and women is to drink a quart of nourishing herbal infusion every day. And I rotate through my 5 favorite nourishing herbal infusions. Stinging nettle, the energy of the earth. Oat straw for longevity and juicy sexuality. Comfrey makes everything strong and smooth. Remember comfrey. Red clover, the world's leading anti-cancer herb and one of the herbs that is strongest in the phytosterols. It contains 4 of the phytosterol grouping, which is all that we know of, whereas soy only contains 1. I think there's not much confusion. Soybeans are not good for health, and they may actively promote breast cancer. That's a somewhat shortened reply, believe it or not.
Wow. Thank you.
I actually have a 2-hour class called Phytoestrogens, Friends or Foes. And you can locate that as an MP3 download or as a CD set.
Uh-huh.
This is obviously a very intense topic, one that there is a lot of discussion about. And I can also tell you that for the past 10 years, I have been asking women in my classes if they are postmenopausal to please stand up. I've then been asking women if they are taking any hormones, whether a cream, a bioidentical, or a prescribed hormone, to please sit down. I then ask the remaining standing group for any woman who feels that she's missing any hormone of any kind to please sit down. In 10 years, I've yet to have any woman say she's missing anything and sit down.
That makes sense. So you like
I would certainly
nettle?
That at the age of 66, I'm not missing anything at all. And I certainly do not take any kind of hormonal supplement. I drink my nourishing herbal infusions. I rotate through stinging nettle one day, comfrey another day, red clover another day, oat straw another day, and linden another day.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good policy.
In fact, I am so wanting to get the entire world to start drinking nourishing herbal infusions that at my Wise Woman University, my online university, I offer a free course called Drink Your Way to Health with Nourishing Herbal Infusions. There is no cost for the course now or ever. I do not sell any herbs. I'm not looking to sell you anything at all. The healthier you are, the happier you are, the happier I am. I run an abundance-based business. I want to see you healthy and happy. That's my sole goal.
Thank you. I can really hear that in your voice.
So find those YouTubes of me making nourishing herbal infusions. Buy a scale. Join my free course on nourishing herbal infusions. I think you have to go to the wisewomanbookshop.com and look under N for nourishing. I think they didn't think people would find it under drink. So we put it under nourishing. And, join, I think there's a community of over 2,000 people. currently involved in the course, and some of the recent things that I read, one woman said, well, I got my husband to drink these nourishing herbal infusions. He's been doing it for 4 weeks, and his doctor just halved his diabetes medication. And another woman said these nourishing herbal infusions are truly remarkable. I've been drinking them for about 10 days, and I've now thrown away my anti-anxiety medications.
My next question is, what are your thoughts about the causes of cancer, and how do you work to prevent it or treat it?
You better sit down for this one. What is a cancer cell? A cancer cell is a cell that doesn't die. A cancer cell is a healthy cell. A cancer cell is a young cell. A cancer cell is a fast-moving cell. Cancer cells are the youngest, fastest-moving, healthiest, most long-lived cells in our bodies. If they weren't, it wouldn't cause us any problems at all. I think that cancer is a manifestation of our wish to live forever. And that the best way to prevent cancer is to understand we live a limited human life. Back to my mentor, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she used to say, the date of your death is stamped on your left buttock where you cannot see it. She said, now some of you in this room actually have the date of your death stamped on a card which you're wearing on your shoulder. And as I said, she worked with people mostly with terminal diagnoses. She said, but that doesn't mean that my date doesn't precede yours. It just means I can't see my date. So when we truly begin to live with the understanding that life is limited, we can't keep putting it off. There will be an end to this life. Then I think we take a powerful step toward preventing cancer. I had 2 women MDs come out of retirement and drive over 300 miles to come to talk to me at a workshop that I did. And they said, we want you to know that in our experience, the 2 of us, we believe that cancers are caused by emotions that people do not express. Grief, rage. And she said this is especially true of women, that women swallow and hide their feelings, and they then are transmuted into cancer because the feelings are very active, very young, very hot. And I'm not necessarily saying that I completely agree with them, but I certainly understand what they're saying. In general, cancers, and there are hundreds of different kinds of breast cancers alone, and thousands of different other cancers. Cancers are multifocal events. That means there's not one thing that causes cancer, but there's a variety of things. It's kind of like if you're spending the day with a 2 or 3-year-old. You might be happy and joyous, at 70 repetitions of something, but the 72nd repetition pushes you around the bend. Just so it is with cancer and the immune system. It is said that every living human being has cancer cells in their body all the time. After all, a cancer cell is a cell that is somehow mismade, and as we are making trillions of cells on a daily basis, it would stand to reason that even with very good quality control, some of them are going to be cancer cells, and that the immune system usually simply gets rid of those cancer cells. So, in my book, Breast Cancer, Breast Health, The Wise Woman Way, I talk about my anti-cancer lifestyle. I have a whole section there about the things that I do to help prevent cancer. But let's go over some things that we can do, 1, 2, 3, that are really simple, really easy. 1, drink a quart of red clover infusion every week. Remember, red clover is the world's leading anti-cancer herb and a terrific cancer preventative as well. 2, eat more plants from the cabbage family. This would include not only cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower, but also things like rutabaga, kohlrabi, turnips, radishes, even horseradish, bok choy, tot soy, and a wide variety of Chinese greens. 4 servings of cabbage family plants in the diet every week reduce overall cancer risk by 50%. Eat more miso and tamari. Forget the rest of soy. I do not eat any soy at all except for miso and tamari, but I keep miso and tamari on my table, and I do my best to see to it that I eat one or both of them on a daily basis. These are the only foods that have been found to have a straight line relationship in terms of preventing cancer. So we just said that, wow, if you eat 4 servings of cabbage family plants a week, you reduce your cancer risk by 50%. I bet some of you thought, hey, I'll eat 8 servings and I'll reduce my cancer risk by 100%. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. 4 servings or more, you get a 50% reduction. Doesn't matter how much more you eat, all you get is a 50% reduction. Some things we see a rise up until a certain level. So the more garlic you eat, the more onions you eat, the more cooked tomatoes you eat. Raw tomatoes do not count. Certainly up to a certain level. More tea you drink, up to a certain level, you're going to get kickbacks in cancer reduction there, but you can't go beyond that level. Whereas both miso and tamari, the more that you have in the diet, the more you reduce your risk of cancer. In a study done with this, looking at breast cancer active mice, they actually pushed the diet all the way to 100% miso or 100% tamari, and none of those mice engineered to get breast cancer got breast cancer, although they did die of malnutrition.
Wow. That's a great answer. Those are really useful, doable things to do.
And the last one is eat more lentils. Lentils not only contain phytosterols, which we've just talked about because they're a member of the bean family, but they also contain a repair kit for the DNA. So the immune system, once it finds a cancer cell, can actually repair that cancer cell and turn it back into a healthy cell so long as we're eating plenty of lentils. And there's lots of ways to eat lentils. There's the big green lentils that we're used to in soup, but there's also the little orange lentils, which cook up real fast and can be seasoned in so many different ways. And then the magnificent, they're sometimes called caviar lentils or black lentils or French lentils, and they are just wonderful. When I was teaching in Germany, I did a 3-week intensive on breast health there for healthcare professionals, and the chef there, a friend of mine, listened in, came and stuck his ear to the door and listened in. And on one of the first days, he heard me talking about lentils, and what a brilliant man. He'd endeavored to serve us lentils 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for our entire 3 weeks, and we never once said to him, ugh, lentils again.
Awesome.
Truly.
Okay, thank you, Green Meadow. I encourage all of our listeners to explore and learn about Susun Weed by visiting her website at www.susanweed.com. And we're moving on to the survival herbs and health topic. And next is Paul.
Hello, Susan. This is the question. This is the question from Lua. If you are planning a medicinal herb garden for a survival situation, knowing that you would only have access to those herbs and nothing else, can you share with us which plants you would choose for your garden and why? And what would you consider the most important herb to grow if you could only have one medicinal herb?
You could never have only one medicinal herb. Simply poppycock, isn't it? Come on. The herbs that you want to grow in your garden are called weeds. And that's all the more effort you have to put out to get them there. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's what I grow in my garden is weeds. And that's what I would recommend that anybody grow in their garden is weeds.